In millennia of darkness, there was a spark. And the spark, small and limited as it was, gave a few mice hope. Some of them were happy the way they were, living half in darkness, half in firelight. Some dreamed of better futures, full of something indescribably large to them, but something different. Yet others, disgruntled with the inactivity of the other mice, tried things. And they did try a lot of things. In millennia of spark, there grew a sun, and the sun, large and expansive as it was, gave a city of mice ideas. Some of them were happy the way they were, lazing around in the sunlight, knowing much and thinking not. Some dreamed of better futures, darker adventures, but something different. And some, restless with the pointlessness of the other mice, tried things. But the spark had grown into a flame, and the flame had grown into a sun, and the sun had grown far too much for the mice to control. The things they tried to alter, the things they tried to make, no longer became the things that every mouse wanted, and they maintained a habit of looking away. In millennia of sun, there began a time, and from the very beginning they were told that minutes walked, but then hours ran. They were given numbers, but soon after, numbers were given to them. The numbers told them what to do, where to look, how to look, when to look. The spark from so long ago was forgotten, brushed off as an insignificant lack of thought and expertise. Yet, beyond the murky layers of stress and vague momentary happiness lived a culture of thriving chaos. The arms of trees reaching for the sky that is centuries older than ourselves, lost to the hardships and traffic of everyday life. The subtle symphony of birds, wind, and water, lost to refined rubble. Tall structures daring to touch the clouds are unseen by those who walk the streets, eyes down, intent on the purpose rather than the beauty of numbers. The beauty was for naught. For is it truly there if no one is there to acknowledge it? The mice continue to live in the dark. Do we?
Hi everybody! Today I'll be reading my monologue when I was 5 years old. So let's get to it. In November 2015, I went to the zoo in Center City to see animals. I saw big elephants, tigers, and my most favorite, hippos. They were super cute. The zoo workers let me pet the monkeys and snakes. They were animals that were trained, so I did not get hurt. But I was just a little scared. My mom was at the gift shop shopping for mugs. I was just 5 feet away from her, so I could see the beautiful peacocks. I saw these big giraffes and wanted to go closer, so I did. Eventually I got closer to the giraffe. And the giraffe section was so big that I got lost, and I was only 5 years old. I missed my mommy. I kept looking for my mom, but I could not find her. And I cried on the bench. She found her monkey cup. She was super happy to surprise me with the monkey cup. When she turned around, she did not see me, so she freaked out and almost called the police back at me. I remembered one thing that my mom said to me: if you get lost, don't worry, call a person that works here and say, can you help me find my mother? So we looked around and found my mother. I was so excited to see her. So we left the zoo, and my mom said you did a good job by calling the worker that works at the zoo. We got in the car and went home.
My monologue about moving. I was upset about moving, but also happy that I moved. When I was in DC, I had strings attached. The strings were attached to my book, my life. They were telling me things coming from something else, like my book was attached to one end, and my auntie, me, the person in your head that will never be on your side, was attached to the other end. I was on board with moving, being attached, because I was yearning to get rid of the strings. I needed a refresher from DC, a new start to just start over from my other life. I just needed something to start over with, like a lifelong project. My life is a book because it has different chapters and an ending. But the last chapter, I needed to skip to the last page just to feel something, to get away from my first chapter. Life, the feeling of life. The end.
Before, my life was made of string, threads surrounding and suspending me, made of obligation and opportunity, hopes and dreams, relationships and community, a web woven from strings of connection, and me at the center. My strings gave me a path to follow, a structure I could depend on. These strings that I spun around myself blinded and constricted me, but they protected me. In my web, I knew the way, and I was safe. In the blink of an eye, my strings are slashed apart, every connection cleanly and coldly cut by an unfeeling blade. Shocked, I flail, grasping for anything, but my web is in tatters, and each thing I try to grasp slips through my fingers. Without my web to support me, I begin to fall through space until I land broken in the dark below. I lay there on my side, motionless. The darkness isn't new, but without my strings, I can't find the path. And in the dark, for the first time in a long time, I can think. Without the web pulling at me and consuming my every thought, I start to reflect on myself. I realize without the web fastened tight around me, I can breathe. And I do. And air rushes into me and I see light, an inner light. I start to discover myself, because I am the only thing I have. In the dark, I keep breathing, following what it shows me. I collect pieces from my darkest corners, things I have always known but never really considered. My uncomfortability with femininity, my love of stories, my ability to make. These pieces form a new picture of me. And in the dark, with no one to see and nothing to hold me back, I begin to change. My breath and its light fills me, and I can see. It is exhilarating and beautiful. I never imagined how much of myself there is, and the light shines through all of it. Now I don't know why I ever needed the web. I am all that I need, and so I plunge into the darkness. The web was a net, and I a helpless creature ensnared, but I have broken free, no longer impaired. I begin to be glad that it is gone, because now I am free. Lost in the emptiness, my light flickers, and something else begins to grow. A darkness that creeps up silent, silencing all, deadening all. Not at once, like a gag of chloroform. That would be too simple. No. Silencing, deadening, like every single light being snuffed out, until you are lying alone in the dark, having convinced yourself that this is right, that it's right to be alone in the dark, and the emptiness inside is the only way to be safe. If you feel nothing, you can't feel pain. If you are forever alone, you can be safe in yourself, in the dark, right? The pain of lack is temporary. It will fade with time. The pain of pulling away from everyone you love can't compare to the pain of that love being broken by another. Better to let it all fade away into the dark. This isn't right. It can't be. But this is the path I have chosen, and I can't turn back. A pull at my wrist. A thread. A single thread curled around it. Its touch is soft, caring. I pause, torn. The darkness has done nothing but hurt me, but if I follow the thread, it will lead me back to the web, and nothing will have changed. Either way, I will be blind. My hand strays down to the thread at my wrist. Absently, lost in thought, I unwind it. As my fingers grasp around it, a soft light blooms from it. I grasp it more firmly, and the light brightens. I slide my hands further down it, and the light follows, so I follow it, using the thread to guide me and the light it casts to light my way. As I follow, my breath returns to fill me, and my own light returns to me. I follow the light to my broken web. Looking up at its tattered strings, I see no more grandeur or fear. It is something broken that should be fixed. A tattered tapestry. My tapestry. Almost thoughtless, I reach up to grasp the threads and pause, hand hovering. Is this really right? Will it be any different? I breathe and make a choice. I grab the threads. I will make it different. The threads blossom with light at my touch, and I begin to weave.